Do you ever agree to do something that's months away, but then when it's right around the corner, you're like, why did I do that? I do too. And there's a reason why. Stay right there. Welcome to How to Get What You Want. This podcast is for driven women ready to claim their goals and navigate their careers with clarity and confidence. Join me as we explore real stories, tools, and strategies to help you steer your career exactly where you want to go. Let's get started on helping you get what you want. Hey, friends, welcome. I am so happy that you made the choice to be here today because, as always, I'm doing a topic that really hit home for me. And so I think that's why I love to be here and share it with you as well. And I love to hear from you. So let me know how this lands for you and what was brought up, what bubbled up for you. Really think about how can you take a nugget today and apply it for you. I think it's really important for us to be thinking about the action that we can take to be the better person that we're moving toward tomorrow. So this whole idea of the future, I have listened to and read a lot of research around what our minds do, this trap that we fall in around the future. And it's so interesting because it really affects the way we believe the future looks and the decisions that we make. A guy, his name is Hal Hirschfield. He looked at that we make short-sighted decisions because we treat our future self like a stranger. We think we don't understand ourselves. So we say yes to things because we may not want to do them now, but we believe maybe our future self does. Now, doesn't that sound really funny that we would believe that about ourselves? But we somehow have this disconnection between who we are today and who we're going to. The second piece of research was from Daniel Gilbert and Timothy Wilson, and it's about effectively forecasting errors. And what they say is we're terrible at predicting how we'll feel in the future. We overestimate both intensity and duration of our emotions, good and bad. This is super interesting. So what happens is that intensifies the emotion because we didn't expect it. We didn't think about it, so it even makes it worse. And we expect that what we had believed to be true. Like if we were looking forward to something, and I think a great example is if you were going to go speak on a big stage and you were like, so once I get there, I'm going to be so excited and be just rejuvenated. But to get there means you have to face the fear, you have to prepare for it, you have to go through all these iterations of the process to move yourself through it. You don't anticipate all those things or you don't think about what goes with it. So thinking about those, Roger, it's just funny that these are all men. Roger Butler, sorry, Roger, if that's not how you say your name, talks about the planning fallacy. We underestimate how long things will take and we overestimate how much we can do. Oh my gosh, that is so true. I've had to really think about how I do that for me. And he says that when we do that, we are not as prepared, or we don't give ourselves enough time to prepare. So we never go into a future event really feeling as confident as we could because we believed we'd be more prepared. Boy, Roger, where were you when I was young and growing up so that I could learn these things a lot earlier? And then the last one was Walter Mischel. And he did that marshmallow test. Have you seen those little kids where you put a marshmallow right in front of them and you tell them that if they wait and don't eat it, then they'll get more. But if they eat it, they don't get anything else. And so some of the kids can wait and some of them can't. And so it's a whole idea of delaying gratification, knowing or believing that something in the future is going to be better. So that whole idea of, do you just want to do it now because there's this instantaneous, or are you more the person that's like, all right, if it's a bigger reward, then I'm going to wait. So these are all aspects of what does our future look like? And what is this illusion that we believe about the future, whether it's we'll have more time, we don't understand the emotions, or we don't anticipate the emotions that are involved. If we're able to wait so that we can get a better outcome for ourselves, and then underestimating our ability to really plan or being optimistic with time. My dad used to say that about me. You're very optimistic about time. And I think that's really true. I think I can work faster than I really can, or the way I process things to get me to a place where I'll be confident when I'm walking through something that's a challenge for me in the future. So the point here is this: we have this disconnect with our future self. And all of those research studies show that there's kind of a different angle for all of those, the way we look at the future. One might be more intense for you. And I want you to really think about, what is it for you? Maybe all of them apply. Maybe you're always thinking, I'll have time, and you never do. Or you don't anticipate the emotion or how long something will take, or even that ability to wait to make sure that you get the bigger prize. Or do you like to have that instant gratification? Future is an interesting thing to contemplate. And it's really important when we think about negotiation and high stakes situations, because having that lens and that knowledge about how our current self sees the future inhibits us from getting what we want when we finally get to the table. So it's part of the prep piece of walking into a high stakes situation, is to consider, what are you assuming about your future self that is not accurate for you? I'm just going to state the elephant in the room, which is negotiation is one of those things. Asking for what we want is something that we can push out into the future because it's uncomfortable. So when we think about our future self and putting it around the lens of getting what we want, when we put it off today until tomorrow, until the future, we are more optimistic about our courage, our confidence, how we'll move through. So I want you to think about, how are you inhibiting yourself around that as I talk about some of these examples. And that's really how I want you to think about this, because these ideas around our future selves have a direct correlation to how we negotiate with ourselves before we move into get what we want. So there's lots of great examples that I can think of when this has gotten in my way. One specifically was when I had a boss who wanted volunteers to take on a big project. And I immediately started thinking about all the reasons I couldn't. I didn't have the skills. I didn't have the influence. I didn't have the experience. So I didn't put my hand up because I knew I wasn't ready, or that's what I believed about myself. And my colleague, Dan, who I love and who taught me a lot about things I should and shouldn't do, he got the assignment and he didn't even hesitate. He didn't even think about all of those things about himself that he's not quite ready in the here and now. I was waiting for this future Susie to be ready, to be accomplished, to feel this courage, to feel the value that I had. And what ended up happening is a few weeks went by and my boss was asking me why I didn't raise my hand. He didn't want to just give it to me. He wanted somebody that really believed in themselves to take it. And that was such a great lesson to learn around, if you don't believe that you have what it takes and it's going to need the future you to be a part of that, you need to really zoom that back in for yourself. You need to really think about, who are you right now? And it is the same person that you are in the future. I mean, yes, you're shifting all the time, but those experiences will help you even approach that differently. So saying yes before you're ready, because of that illusion that we had that we're just not there. The future self will be ready. I see this a lot in my clients, especially when they're asked to take on new responsibilities. They just believe, oh, that's just one, that's just one more thing. That's just additive to what I'm doing. And very shortly, they are all of a sudden taking on another half of a role because it just slowly added to their workload. And they become very resentful because of that, because now they have this whole portfolio of all these things they've taken on over time, because they just knew that this future person will just take care of the mess, is basically what they were thinking. And it's not true, especially when the person that's sitting next to you when their approach is very different and they say, okay, I'll take this on, but this is what I need from you. They're setting a standard that is different than just taking they're given. So this whole future idea of how do I get out of my own way to think about myself right now as the person in the future as well. And that other example about time, how we believe we have more time in the future. I see this happening all the time with events that I'm asked to speak at or a networking event that I know nobody at. And what happens is I will say yes because I'm thinking I have this illusion that I will have so much time to be able to do this. And I'll be so happy that I made that choice for myself because my future self is somehow more courageous than my present self, and I'll want to do it. So I really think about when I say yes to something, I think about would I say yes now? Because that's the only way I can make a decision that's in line with my future self. This is so interesting to think about this when I'm visualizing this and thinking about how this works. I think about kind of this revolving door and it's you now and you in the future. And it's funny how we see ourselves so differently. We see ourselves as that stranger. We see ourselves as somebody that has more confidence, that has more time, that knows your value, understands it from a really visceral perspective. We have this separation between the two. And we need to understand to bring that in so that we can make better decisions for our future self in the here and now and benefit from what we already have. We may not feel very courageous in the moment, but we can figure it out as we go to really be that future self that we are now. Gosh, I feel like if you're not tracking with me, it's because this is such a philosophical discussion around who we are today and who we believe we are. And think about what that research said that we almost think of ourselves as a stranger in the future. We don't even recognize who we are because we're giving ourselves, we like live in a different reality. But you know how they say you really should work, you should live in the here and now and really enjoy kind of the old saying, take time to smell the flowers. It's really understanding that be who you are and understand that hone that value of who you are today because you are the same person as that future self. I'll give you some more tips to think about as soon as we get back. Hey, Susie here. Thought I'd pop in. I wanted to let you know I've been an executive coach for over a decade. I work with executives and they call me their silent partner because I help them increase their confidence when they're facing really difficult decisions. If you'd like to see if we're a good fit, head over to susietalmanchuck.com and fill out an application. I'd love to hear from you. When I think about these tips, they're very grounded in adopting a negotiator mindset. And the first one is being really clear about where you're going, meaning like, where do you want to develop? What are some of the things that you want to experience? What's exposure that you want? And the reason I want you to do that is because then you'll see these opportunities. Or when somebody comes to you and asks you if you want to participate in this or if you want additional responsibility, it's yes, because it's going down the path that you want to go. And when you recognize that it is above and beyond, you can say in that moment, yes, I want to take this on. This will be a great experience for me. But I really want to talk about how I'll be able to either hand off something else that I'm already doing, or I'm going to ask for more compensation, or I'm going to ask for something else in return. So when you're really clear about what's important to you, it allows you the optics to see it around you where you can opt in and even say yes before you feel ready. It's an important aspect of really adopting a negotiator mindset because you are responsible for your own development in your career, in your business, whatever you're doing. And when you put those things out there, and there's a lot of studies that say writing it down, being really clear on it, visualizing, that's how really clear I'm talking about this, that you need to think about what is important to you in your role and beyond so that when you're asked, you can identify, okay, I can do this, but I need more. And be able to say yes now so that you don't inhibit yourself by believing that you need to wait till later. So clarity is, a foundational aspect of a great negotiator is that clear view of the best possible outcome that you can achieve. The second one is really framing the bigger picture, understanding that your future self is you. So when faced with something, tell yourself, would I say yes if it was in the next 48 hours? Reframe it to your current self so that you can identify if you really want to do it. And if you're saying, I'm not quite ready, understand that the way we develop and grow is to do things before we are ready. That is the way you move through and get better. So, taking time to reframe it, asking yourself things like, what do I have to lose? Instead of saying that, what do you have to gain? What if it fails? What if you don't have the right skill? But what if it succeeds and you grow? So, reframing it in the moment for you, and maybe it's taking the space and the time. It's once you see it, it's having that clarity, it's framing it so that you have the intention of moving forward now or saying no, that it's not going to serve you. And this is why. The third one is to make space. Whether it's you're really clear about where you want to go, it's making space to plan about how you're going to anchor those ideas to the right people so that they start to get some seedlings out there and then you can water them and see them grow. Or giving yourself space that when you're asked to take on more or you're asked if you want to participate in something, give yourself time to make the decision for your future self. We tend to answer right away because of these illusions that we have for ourselves, and we don't recognize in that moment that it may not serve us. And if it doesn't serve you in the moment, then it's saying no. So make space to make a decision. Saying yes right away is not the best strategy in any kind of negotiation, even accepting the first offer. So making it a practice to make space is a great best practice for any negotiator and for you to make the right choice for your future self. So understanding these illusions that happen for us and how we view our future self, making that space will allow you to make the right decision for that person. So the three are being really clear about where you're going, making sure you frame the bigger picture, what's important to you, understanding about how to say yes and if you want to. And then the third is taking the space to make sure that the right decision that you're making is really serving that future self, that development for you, so that when you get to that new time and place, you have developed in a really great way. You've gotten this experience, this exposure, whatever that is for you. I'm just going to say it. Our brains lie to us about the future. We see our reality today differently than we believe our future will be. And so we think we'll be more motivated. We think we'll have more time. We think we'll be more skilled. We're doing our future self a disservice because in the here and now, we're waiting because of that. Do you see the disconnect? We can accelerate our growth so that we're better off in our future, but our current self is saying no because we believe our future self has got it all going on. But that's a lie. So it's really important to think about this. So here's my ask for this week. What are you saying yes to because you believe that your future self has more time and motivation, that you just have this abundance for that future self? What are you saying yes to that you shouldn't be saying yes to? And what are you avoiding because you feel like you're not ready? You feel like you'll be uncomfortable? What are you saying no to that you may need to be saying yes to? This future self, current self dilemma is something that I consider all the time because once you see it and you realize that we have a different belief system about our future self, it helps you make better decisions in the here and now. It's helped me a ton. I always ask myself, would I say yes to this if it was going to be happening in 24 hours or 48 hours? And, it doesn't have to be a jerk of a no. No, I'm not going to do this. This isn't important to me. You have a good frame. Hey, listen, I think this sounds like a great opportunity. I apologize, but I just don't have the ability to be at that event or to attend that. So, but thank you so much for thinking on me. So it doesn't have to be a tough no. Yes, it can be a soft no. It can be in your voice. What do you need to do? What do you need to say yes to? What are you saying no to? What are you thinking about that future self of yours? How do you look at yourself? Think about those things that I talked about today. If you love this whole idea, I'm going to keep exploring these mindset things, these emotional things, these perspectives that we have that get in our way. It's all associated to adopting a negotiator mindset, which is my newsletter. If you want to go deeper with me and be a part of my world, go to negotiationlove.com and you can sign up there. I'd love to have you as a part of the community. And next time, we'll continue the conversation around how we get in our own way of getting what we want. I'm glad you made the commitment to being here today. If you feel like somebody needs to hear this message, please share it with them. And remember that negotiation is more than a skill, it is definitely a mindset. Until next time.